Hello, welcome to the Futurist Mindset Show featuring our special guest today. I'm going to actually let Reagan introduce him, but first I'm going to introduce Reagan to you. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hi, Reagan. How are you?
I am doing better than I deserve. How about yourself?
Good, good. And I'm excited to have a guest today. I'm going to
I
let you
am.
introduce him.
I am because you don't want to butcher up the
I
name. And
know.
so I think I got it down. It is in Mendoza, Argentina. And Edgar is a great person that was referred to me by Lydia, who Tessa, you might remember, referred us to Dr. Thomas.
Yes.
And so, yes, Edgar um, is with Parque Solar Aconcagua.
There
Did I
you
say
go.
that right, Edgar?
You did it very good.
Good.
Very
So, on that note, Edgar, before we talk about
good.
that project itself, can you help us understand the energy situation in Argentina today and why it has become such an important issue?
Sure. And first, Reagan, Tessa, pleasure being here with you.
Yeah.
And going to your question, Reagan,
Uh-huh.
Argentina, and you can look at Argentina in different ways, and for the past years, because of different governments and changing governments and
Yeah.
a financial crisis that happened in the past few years, there has
Mm-hmm.
been a very little investment going on in Argentina, especially in the infrastructure. All right, so
Yeah.
that obviously affects the country and then generates a crisis. A
Yeah.
crisis that obviously, when you look at it, it can be an opportunity for business, but uh, obviously also it just generates a lot of uncertainty, especially in the energy sector. So
Yes.
the changing in governments, switching from different perspectives of ideas,
Uh-huh.
and the financial crisis have put Argentina on a situation that it's developing. It's coming back, and they are doing their
Yes.
work to become and to overcome all these situations. And I think that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, you and I were just talking about that the other day. One of the wealthiest people in the United States, Peter Thiel, just moved his domicile to Argentina. Look it up. Look up Peter Thiel moves to Argentina, and he already enrolled his two children there and bought the largest home in Argentina. So on that note, Tessa, can you help us with next question?
Yes, yes. Well, many people assume that energy shortages are caused by a lack of resources. Is Argentina's challenge really a resource problem, or is it more of an infrastructure and development problem? Or
Yeah,
deployment, I should say.
yeah, good
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
Well, actually, Argentina is a very resources country. It has a lot of resources.
Yes, it
Has
does.
one of the biggest natural wells here in the
Mm.
area of Vaca Muerta, and it has solar, very good radiation solar, very good wind areas like the Pampa, and it's a country that has very natural and rich resources. The problem, like I was saying before, comes from the infrastructure. There is
Mhm.
lack of transmission and distribution lines. That generates a problem to reach electricity to everywhere. And also there is some problems with the gas distribution. Bringing
Yeah.
gas from the place where you have all these wells and all these um, resources, and bringing them to the different countries. It's a big country, so you need to
Yeah.
have all these distribution systems. And for the reasons that I mentioned before, those type of investments hasn't happened. So that generates the crisis, and that generates the problem. We
Gotcha.
feel that in the next few years, the solution is going into a more distributed um, system where you put generation in different areas. That way you kind of solve the problem of not having the infrastructure to transport and distribute power.
Very good.
In that regard,
So,
renewable,
uh-huh.
sorry, and I'm finished with that.
No, I interrupted.
In that regard, renewable, it's a good option.
Thank you. So one of the things I was curious about is what attracted you specifically to Mendoza, Argentina, as the location for Parque Solar Aconcagua.
There you
I
go.
like saying that name, although I butchered Aconcagua.
There you go. Well, Mendoza, it's a province of Argentina, and it's 1,000 km from Buenos Aires. It's very isolated, right? It's close to the border with Chile, actually.
Yes, it is.
And it's a region that needs a lot of development, and we see that there is a lot of opportunities in Mendoza. And besides having the fact that this solar project, has been declared as a priority for the province, we saw that we see our company as a development platform, and having a project in this region and having operations in Mendoza, we see it as a good starting point for this platform of development and future projects too. So, and there's one particular special thing. Mendoza has an excellent radiation factor for solar plants. So we have a good solar radiation. The people in the authorities of Mendoza like the project, want the project, and we see that there is a lot of development that needs to happen in this area. So it's a good opportunity for us.
Yeah. I know that there might be some people that are listening that maybe they might be unfamiliar with utility scale solar. So maybe talk a little, could you answer on what would be that impact that it could have once it's operational?
Well, we're going to install around 118,000 solar panels in the park. That generates about 65 megawatts, between 65 and 70 megawatts of AC.
Yes.
And that will be enough power to give electricity to 62,000 homes. And it will reduce the amount of emissions, CO2 emissions, in about 100,000 tons per year. So this is what we're talking about. This is a large-scale project that brings a lot of opportunities, has a direct impact on the emissions. It has a direct impact of clean energy to the final off-taker. And it will bring a lot of opportunities to small businesses and communities around the project that we're going to build. So it has all kinds of impact around.
Thank you for that. Tessa, I'll let you ask the next question. And by the way, for those that don't know, MWAC, which will be the next question that Tessa will ask, stands for megawatt alternating current. So go for it, Tessa. I just gave you a cheat note.
Well, you mentioned a little bit about this, but the project's designed for 65 megawatt alternating currents with expansion
look at you. Good job.
to 115. So what does that mean in practical terms? You mentioned a little bit about it for communities and businesses, but what does that mean in terms of being able to benefit the local communities and businesses?
Well, first of all, just to dimension this, we have a land of 200 hectares. We're going to use about 110, and we're going to fill these 110 hectares with solar panels, okay? That also gives us an opportunity to have another 90 hectares for future development, Even though we're going to generate 65 right now, we're looking to increase the capacity of this park to about 115 in the near future. With that, obviously, that generates a lot of job opportunities in the region. We're going to have about 300 during construction, new job opportunities, and about 50 job opportunities during normal operation. The idea is that this project will run for at least between 15 and 20 years. So that's a good impact in the region for job opportunities only. Besides, communities and small businesses that are around the project are going to benefit because we're going to try to use them and encourage them. We have also a strong community responsibility program, which we're going to try to approach problems that we can identify around the region and help with that. So it's going to be a very interesting process.
It is, Edgar, I had 2 conversations today from 2 different people on solar, and then another one yesterday. One was in Nigeria. He had just emailed me right before we got on, and he was just telling me that how many challenges they've had with getting solar over there. This guy's with the government and specifically works in the Minister of Energy. And I don't know if I had mentioned this to you, but about 4 years ago, Edgar, I had somebody with the government contact me in Uganda because 90% of the people don't have power or electric in Uganda. And they actually only needed 50 megawatts. So the full amount of the project was 50 million so that the entire country could be on there. Now, it didn't end up going through. A lot of challenges. We're still working on that. Lydia, who referred me to you, can tell you we had a conversation with somebody that's well connected there. So let me get to my question here. Many renewable energy projects never make it past that planning stage. And I think you know that. So what obstacles has Aconcagua already overcome that others have not?
Well, that's a good question.
Yes. Yeah.
Normally, I mean, these large-scale projects have a lot of requirements to meet, especially because you need to do environmental assessments to monitor your impact in the environment. There is a lot of studies for granting access to the interconnection grid into the system. And there is all other kind of different type of permits and studies that needs to be performed. During the past years, what we have done is that we have done all these studies and have a good relationship with the authorities in order to get all the permits. And we had done our homework. And what we did is that the biggest achievement is that now Aconcagua, Parque Aconcagua, is not just a conceptual project, but it's a project that has all the permits, studies, and everything that makes the project to a stage already to build. We have acquired all the environmental resolutions, the land agreement, even a PPA, which is a power purchase agreement, which is a very important part because that's the contract that will allow you to sell the power into the market. So we have done all this, and normally a lot of people just get the idea but don't do the homework, and that's what is different for Aconcagua. We did our homework and we brought it to the point that we feel that it's really ready to build.
Yeah. And Tessa, I think he kind of already answered our question number 7 about how it addresses that national objective. So I'm gonna, the 8th question, I think that we were gonna get to, you kind of did answer that because you have.
But there is one important thing on the impact on country. And it's the national regulation of Argentina mandates that 20% of the power that is consuming country has to be renewable. So with Parque Solar Aconcagua, we're going to help matching up this requirement for the country. Okay, today there is about, even counting with Parque Solar Aconcagua, there is going to be still 5% missing for that balance. You know, that 80-20 balance that the regulation mandates and the general law of electricity. So there is an impact installing renewable power in country, because you need to get to that point that you can make or achieve that ratio of 80-20. So we're going to help doing that in country.
Yeah, yeah. And on that same note, I know that you have 3 decades in the energy sector space, and most people that come to me, they don't. They just say, hey, solar, there's a need. So how has your experience shaped the way you've approached this project?
Well, I think those 30 years bring you to a level of maturity and knowledgeable that allows you to take the road, you know, make the steps and have all the things that are required in order to bring the project to the level that we are right now, which is ready to build. We don't get excited, we just do the work, you know, and step by step, we do our checklist and make sure that permits are in place, studies are where they need to be, and all the requirements. And then one important thing is that we also take care of the commercial part by locating and securing the off-taker PPA, the power purchase agreement, which at the end is what makes the business have sense, you know.
So then why do you believe that late stage infrastructure assets like Aconcagua are becoming increasingly valuable in today's energy market?
Well, financial institutions and a lot of the tendency for the world right now is going in trying to protect the environment and reduce the emissions. So renewable power, it's helping to do that. And there is another important thing, which is that the solar projects and battery storage energy, which is something that I believe is going to be the solution in the short term. It's a very friendly technology. You build it very quick, and you can get it up and running in 12 to 15 months. And most of the financial institutions and the world of the energy likes this type of projects because, you know, like I said, protects the environment, very friendly to operate, and it can be built very quickly.
So beyond, I know you've touched on this, and maybe you want to add a little more to it, that beyond those financial returns, what broader environmental or economic benefits do you see this project bringing to your country of Argentina?
Well, I think we're going to be able to develop a lot of things in the Mendoza region, in the province. Like I said before, we have a very good social responsibility program that is going to help around the areas. We're going to try to identify sensitive situations and help with developing that. The small communities, communities around, small businesses, I should say, and communities around the project are going to benefit from having a large-scale project like this. And we see ourselves as a development platform, like I mentioned before, and we are trying to be able to develop a lot of different things in the area and grow in the business in order to move along with the authorities of the province to help in the development of in the region. So I think we have our interest in establishing our operation in Mendoza, which is a
Yes.
Beautiful area that's still in development and then need a lot of investment. So we see that as a very good window of opportunity for us and for the communities and the small businesses that are going to be around us.
Edgar, do you want to talk a little bit about what success would look like, let's say, over the next 5 years?
That's a question that we always ask among our team in the company. What
Yeah,
is
good question to
success?
ask. Yeah.
How should we classify success? And I believe through the years that success comes with being able to achieve your goals and the goals of all the stakeholders that are in the project, because it's not just the shareholders of the company, it's the whole surroundings, like the authorities, the subcontracts, the suppliers, the market. You should have a reliable plant supplying power to the market. You should have all your suppliers achieving their expectations. I mean, it's the combination of everybody being able to say, I did a good project here, and we like that. We want to see that every stakeholder that we involve in the project at the end can say that their goals were achieved. And I
Yeah,
think that's success.
that's good. So, as kind of a last question before Tessa wraps up here, for those of us that are watching, what would you like them to remember most about this opportunity?
Well, if there is one thing I would like people to remember is that developing a large-scale project like this, it's not one person of one company. It's something that you achieve putting together the right teams, the right people, and the right stakeholders, and it's a process. It's an effort that brings a lot of different companies' capabilities, and that's what we have learned through the time, through the experience in being in this business. You need to have the right team, and putting together the right team will allow you to achieve these goals.
I like that you wrap that up, or I like how you finish that up, because what I got out of it is you, in so many words, you did mention you're at the right place at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why we felt that being in Argentina and investing in this Aconcagua project was a good thing, because we had the right project in the right area in the precise time in Argentina, and I think that's what brought us here.
Edgar, just before Tessa wraps up, I can't help to say this. I remember reading in a short story in a book, it had a title and it said, Being at the Right Place at the Right Time. And the author, I think, was making a little bit of a joke, and he mentions what the definition of being at the right place at the right time is. And he says that this successful surgeon calls up his wife and he says, I'm filing for divorce. I'm leaving you for a woman in Argentina. And all I need you to do next is sell the Porsche that's in the driveway. And the attorney said, say that. So she had some contractor working in the garage, and he's really spending a lot of time looking at the car. And she says, you like the car? And he says, oh, yeah, it's a Porsche 911. And he knows all and he said, would you like to buy it? He goes, look, I'm just a contractor. And he said, well, I'd be willing to sell it to you for $1. The contractor goes, whoa, wait a minute. What's the catch here? He says, my husband just called and he said he's leaving me for some woman in Argentina. And then he said to sell the Porsche. So I'm selling it. That's called being at the right place at the right time. On that note, Tessa, why don't you close us out of here like you always do.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Edgar, for being on. We appreciate it and have learned quite a bit about your project. If you'd
Yeah.
like to find out more, you can go to the website 5thaavc.com and click on to contact Reagan, and you can find
Yes.
out more information. If you haven't already, hit the bell so you get notifications